For millions of years, animal evolution has been driven by a brutal, simple rule: run, hide, or fight. If a predator has you cornered, your biological imperative is to do whatever it takes to survive the encounter. But high up in the dense canopy of Borneo, that rule falls apart. Here, tiny insects are constantly hunted by much larger, relentless predators, like territorial weaver ants and hunting spiders. To survive in this high-altitude environment, one specific group of ants has developed a defense mechanism that guarantees it will lose its life in the process. This is Colobopsis explodens, a species formally described by researchers in 2018. When an enemy proves too persistent, this minor worker literally turns its own body into a suicide bomb. Deliberate self-destruction goes entirely against our standard understanding of how an organism should fight to pass on its genes. This creates a biological mystery. How is this insect wired to explode, and why? Detonating requires specialized hardware. These workers possess dramatically oversized mandibular glands loaded with a toxic cocktail. Unlike most ants where these sit in the head, here they run the insect's entire body length, reaching into its bulbous abdomen to pack an enormous chemical payload. The detonation sequence is precise. These ants are highly sensitive to slight leaf vibrations. Once they detect an overwhelming predator threat, they lock onto the target and angle their backsides directly toward the enemy. Then, the worker violently contracts its abdominal muscles. This creates a sudden and massive spike in internal pressure. This extreme physiological buildup serves one irreversible purpose. It forces the ant's skin to tear open at a weak seam called the intersegmental fold, transforming the living insect into a biological fragmentation grenade. The rupture triggers a high-velocity spray of a bright yellow, highly toxic goo in all directions. Researchers noted it carries a distinct, spice-like, curry-like scent. This spray is a complex polyacetate mixture, acting as a heavy-duty glue. Its primary mechanical function is to instantly physically entangle the predator, cementing its legs and mouth parts in place so it cannot move. The payload contains corrosive compounds called phenols, which turn the glue into a painful chemical irritant that burns the enemy. The explosion also releases alarm pheromones and toxic terpenoids that immediately signal the rest of the nest about the breach. This yellow goo is a multi-purpose chemical weapon, engineered to neutralize immediate threats while simultaneously communicating with the entire colony. The physical outcome of the explosion is absolute. The predatory threat is incapacitated, immobilized, and burning. But the worker ant is dead. Scientists call this suicidal altruism, autothysis. It addresses an evolutionary conflict.